to the e-Business Boss channel. Today, I've got something slightly different for you. So I've jumped on a call with an old friend of mine called Jen, otherwise known as a British posher. And I've known Jen since I was a lot younger. But yeah, we're from the same town. She moved to LA a few years ago, and she doesn't do Amazon FBA, but she does have a successful business selling clothes online. So I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to see online sales from another perspective, someone that's clearly doing well. So Jen has over 100,000 followers on Poshmark. She's got a large social media following that's growing and growing. So yeah, I wanted to introduce you guys to someone that's got a slightly different business, but has taken their business to the point where she now works for herself full time. So yeah, Jen, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm really
good.
I've got sort of a load of questions for you that I think everyone will find useful. So, Jen, how did this all happen? You now work for yourself full time with your very own online business. So, yeah, explain how have you done that?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting because we're both essentially in the same industry, but have completely different businesses. So we're both in this like reselling world, but my business is completely different to yours. And so I pretty much started this. So I'd always sold my own clothes on eBay ever since I was sort of in university in the UK. And but I didn't really know that people were buying clothes to sell. I would just be selling like my own stuff. I'd put them on like 99p auctions. It was like terrible. Now I look back at it and think like how much money I actually could have made from that stuff. I was just selling things for like a couple of quid here and there just to like make some money while I was at uni. And then it was only really so I moved to the States after I finished university. I'm now in LA. And still continued to do the same thing. Like whenever I sort of just wasn't wearing anything anymore, I was always the person to put it on eBay and sell it rather than donating it, because I'd never really thought any different because I wanted to make some money back from it. But then so where I live really, really close to a thrift store here in LA. And I must have walked past it like probably next to every day for like 2 years before I ever actually went inside. It was one of those things I just walked past, never even looked, never even crossed my mind to actually go in there. And then I have no idea, like one day I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna like have a look, see if they have anything good. You know, they probably won't have anything good. And then I went in there, found tons of really good stuff. I remember like specifically one of the things I found was I found an All Saints dress, and from my experience, I know that All Saints is expensive. Their dresses retail for like at least a couple £100. So I was like, and it was like $8 or something like that. So I was like, what? Like, how is this even here and here for so cheap? I was like, definitely getting that. I got that and a couple of other things. I spent $25 the first time that I went, and I probably got like 5 things. I went home, I tried that dress on and took a picture of it in my mirror and just at home, like totally like casual. There was no like professional setup or anything. Uploaded it onto Poshmark, and then it sold the next day and for like $50. So I was absolutely like hooked after that. And then I took that $50 that I had made pretty much overnight. So I had already got back my initial investment that I had put into it, and took that money and went straight back to the thrift shop again and bought more stuff. And then I've pretty much just been doing that like on repeat ever since then. So I have had a profitable business right from day one, because I've just sort of like cash flowed that money and just built it up and up and up until the point that I'm at now.
No, that's cool. So Poshmark isn't a site I've used before, but it's very similar to eBay, I suppose, in a sense. It's reselling, but is it just specifically clothes?
So Poshmark is just in the US at the moment, and they just recently launched in Canada. So they're still sort of launching into that market, but I believe that they do have plans to launch worldwide. But at the moment, it's just has a very, very strong like community aspect to it as well. So they're kind of like eBay, but for clothes, and like 10 times better than eBay.
I bet. And you've got over 100,000 followers on Poshmark. Is that
on Poshmark?
I haven't made that up. You've got 100,000 followers.
Yes.
That's really
I
cool.
don't want to be like, oh, I have 100,000 followers. So on Poshmark, you just sort of start to gain a following. As soon as you're on there, you'll start to see. So when I first joined it, I would see all these other accounts that had, you know, thousands and thousands of followers. And I was like, what, like, how have they even got that? But it's just something that you build up over time, and you can start with 0 followers on Poshmark and make money. I mean, when I first joined the app, I had 0 followers. When I first posted that All Saints dress, you know, nobody was following me, but I was able to sell it because the majority of people, when they're searching for items, they're using the search description and not necessarily looking at the people they follow. So yeah, I have 100,000 now, which has been built up over time. But yeah, it's just something that will come naturally and will progress as you're on the app and you're active more and more.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, because it's like, obviously we have a part of our business here, like we do Amazon FBA, as you know. One arm of it is like the reselling, arbitrage and wholesale part, and the other side is like our own private label stuff. So
yeah,
have you sort of considered, or do you sell on any other platforms at all?
So as I said, so I started kind of selling on eBay just from when I was a lot younger. So I was already familiar with that platform. So I sell a little bit on eBay here and there, but it's definitely nothing compared to the volume that I'm doing on Poshmark. And then I like kind of sort of tried to jump into the Amazon side of things and learn about the retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and just learn how that platform worked. And while I don't sell a ton on there, I'm glad that I am familiar with it, because sometimes when I'm looking for clothes, when I go into a thrift shop and I'm looking for clothes, sometimes you might go in there and find nothing, and sometimes you might go in there and find like 50 things. It really is like a bit hit and miss. So I wanted to learn how to do Amazon so that when I go into a thrift shop, if for some reason I'm not finding the clothes, I can then look at like hard goods and books and things like that. And I have been able to pick up a lot of things that way that I'm selling on Amazon.
Cool.
But yeah, Amazon's not necessarily my focus.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And Instagram, you have quite a big Instagram following, to be fair. You go pretty hard with the content on there, but yeah, I know a lot of people that watch these videos will be really interested in, I mean, anyone that's obviously started their own successful online business or business of any type, but someone that's managed to grow a social following, which you really have. I think when I last checked, you had over 16,000 followers. Have you got any tips for anyone that, you know, wants to grow their social media following? So yeah, Instagram, for example, have you got any sort of go-to things you do? Or
I could have a whole strategy session on how to grow your Instagram following. I'm like really into it and really sort of interested to see like different things that work and that side of things. I think I have like 2 main tips for you. And the first one would be that you really have to provide value in some way to your audience. So it doesn't have to be in the form of like tips or anything like that. It can be, you know, are you providing value in the form of like entertainment? Is it educational? Is it inspirational? Whatever it may be, I feel that the value really needs to be like the core focus of your account, and then adding in those sort of lifestyle aspects to it as well, which goes on to my second point. Because the second thing I think you should do in order to grow your following is you really need to show yourself and show you, because there are tons and tons of accounts out there, and the only way that you're going to be able to stand out and be unique is by showing yourself, because nobody else has got that, you know. That's your unique advantage. So absolutely use that. And I definitely noticed for my account that it really started to grow once I started showing up on there and actually like engaging with my audience and doing Instagram stories and showing behind the scenes. And people now have been following my journey right from when I was part-time to now when I'm full-time, and they're much more invested in it because they've been following along for a long time, and they're more likely to engage with me and stay and continue to watch my stories. Whereas if you're not sort of providing the value aspect, then people aren't necessarily, you're not going to hold their attention for long enough.
So because I know loads of people have been like, yes, let's, you know, do the follow and unfollow strategy.
No.
And,
don't do that.
No. When Instagram was sort of emerging, I think that was all anyone did. But now it's more of a case of look after the people on your account, with stories, value, and I know we can definitely take a lot from how you do things as well, because I know you go really hard with like the stories and everything. There's like 100 stories every day, loads of like.
I do it for fun too, just because I'm enjoying it. So
no, it's really cool. So that's really useful. Another question: what does your current sort of working day look like? So now you're at a point where you're working for yourself. You have a boss. Yeah. What does it look like? What does your daily routine look like?
So that's the one thing that I just like absolutely love about selling on Poshmark, and what I do is that I do have freedom and control over my own day. If I could just have that for the rest of my life, like I would be happy. Like just being able to set my own schedule and being able to take time off when I please and do whatever I please throughout the day. So at the moment, I'm definitely still transitioning and figuring out what is kind of the most productive use of my time and the most profitable use of my time. So I'm definitely trying to like put systems in place in order to maximize that. But right now I'm definitely, so I get up in the morning, I ship out my packages that I've sold from the night before. So I've done that already this morning. And then what I will do is then go to the thrift shop, and I'll go to various different ones, and I'll try and find inventory that I'm going to sell on Poshmark. I'll then get home, photograph everything and list it. I try and list things as soon as possible because I really don't want to have that inventory sitting, because it's not going to sell if it's sitting there. I really need to have it up on the site and then list it and then repeat the next day. And it's just a constant cycle of doing that. So a constant cycle of going up, picking out inventory, bringing it back, listing it, selling it, repeat the same thing again.
And I suppose documenting everything you're doing all in between on social media. You obviously love Instagram, like you said that. Are there any other platforms you use or you're thinking about using? Or is it
social media?
Is it
I am like definitely really focused on Instagram. I have thought about the YouTube side of things, but right now I'm just focusing on that one platform and sort of growing my audience and engaging with the people that I do have on there.
Definitely. No, that's cool. And so everybody knows you really as well, Jen, or A British. So where do you want A British Posher to be in, say, 5 years' time? Do you think that far ahead? Have you like set out maybe, the plan really? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do?
So I am definitely like very goal orientated on like a day-to-day business, like a day-to-day structure, but not necessarily like in the long term. So I feel like I probably should have a 5-year plan, but I definitely don't. But I'm just continuing to do what I'm doing, grow and scale my business. I definitely want to get to the point where I can onboard some help in order to take it to the next level. And in terms of A British Posher and my Instagram and everything, I'm just continuing to grow that and help as many people as I can along the way, share my journey with them.
Definitely. And you've got like a crazy tribe of followers. Like every time you put up a post, or I think you tagged us in something, you get like so many people commenting on stuff. So you're obviously doing a really, really good job of that. I think it was Russell Brunson. I don't know if you've heard of him. He created some software called ClickFunnels. And he talks about having like a crazy tribe of like followers. And the only way you can do that is by, like you say, giving them like real value, like real insight at the time. So it's definitely something you do really, really well. I want to ask, so I'm sure there's quite a lot of people watching this that maybe are working for someone else and want to have their own online sort of business. Have you got any tips for someone that's maybe they feel slightly stuck? If they want to start their own online business, what do you think is the best things for sort of them to think about them to do?
So anyone that's in that position, I 100% know where you're at, because I have been there. I studied fashion management and marketing in the UK, so do have like a fashion business background. But for myself, I knew that I never wanted a 9-to-5 job. I tried it. It wasn't for me. It didn't work out. I knew that wasn't going to be the path that I was going to take. So I moved over to the States and I just got a job in a bar, in a restaurant. So I've pretty much been doing that for like 4 years, for quite a while. And I definitely felt stuck doing that because it was fun. I made great money, but it wasn't like going anywhere. I felt like I was very much like just at this one level. Like at the end of the 4 years, I was in the same position that I was in the beginning of the 4 years. And I didn't know like what I was passionate about. And being in LA, it's full of tons of people who are like actors and musicians and writers, and they all have this like crazy passion for what they're doing outside of their day-to-day jobs. And I just didn't have that. I didn't know. I looked at that and thought, I want that for myself, but I don't know what that looks like for me. And it sounds like really cheesy, but that was like until I then found Poshmark, and then all of a sudden it just like clicked into place. But yeah, for me, I don't know if you know this, but so I actually got fired from my full-time job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it wasn't it wasn't like I set myself up for success and was like, okay, right, I need to scale my business to this point and then I'll be able to quit my job and go full-time. It was like, no, they were like, okay, bye, not my finest moment, but it really like propelled me into doing this full time. And I'm so grateful that I did have that side hustle. So I think my advice to someone else is like, even if you're not in a position where you're ready to jump straight in and go for it straight away, then start building something up small. Everybody has the extra time. Even if you do have a 9-to-5 job that you feel stuck, you have the evenings, you have your days off, you do have the time. Like that's not an excuse, in order to put in the work and start to do something in order to build it up to the point where eventually you could turn that into your full-time job.
Yeah, I like that. And I think I read it a few years back about auditing actually what you're doing with your time. Like you say, people think that, look, I've got no time, I work full time, maybe they've got kids. Like I understand, but there is always, say, 2 to 3 hours in an evening where you can usually, take it away from yourself, work on like you have done, your passion. And I think that's an amazing part of your story, is that actually you wouldn't have probably said you were ready to jump.
I wasn't ready, no.
But you got fired, and it goes to show probably, whatever situation you're in, you can probably, do much more than you think. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, sorry you got fired, but I guess
it was like a good thing.
Were you like really bad at your job, or was it just
there was like a meeting, it was mandatory. I didn't go to it. One of those situations. But no, I think they could sort of start to tell, because I had been doing my like side hustle, if you will, for a while at that point. So I think they could start to tell that I wasn't as focused on my job as maybe I could have been, because I was spending a lot of time doing other things outside of that. But I think starting small, and it really goes to show that you do, job security is not as secure as you think it may be, and not to like put a downer on things or anything, but like you do have to like pave your own way and figure things out for yourself in order to, now the amount of money that I make is completely dependent on me and the effort that I put into that. And I really thrive working in that kind of environment. So like I said before, in my other job, I was very stuck and at one level. And I feel like finally I'm at a point where I'm sort of moving up in the world, if you will.
And that's definitely one of the reasons I messaged you and just said, look, we'd love to have you on the channel, because I was speaking to the other two founders here, and we're admiring what you've done, and I think you're going to go, I think you'll go really far with it. So hopefully we've got one of the first exclusive interviews where it all started for you. But I'll finish by asking where everyone can find you, but also I think you actually offer is it a Poshmark Accelerator course for anyone that wants to maybe start flipping clothes for themselves? Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, exactly. So I created Posh Sales Accelerator, which is an online course basically for anybody who is starting to want to start to sell their clothes on Poshmark and they just don't know how to go about it. Maybe they want to start a business, or maybe they've been selling for a little while and it's just not working for them. And it's really about teaching whoever enrolls the skills and knowledge and the strategy and everything behind that you need to know in order to have a successful and profitable Poshmark business.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave a link to the course below in the description, guys, and I'll also leave your Instagram handle, which is just abritishposher.
Yes, it's abritishposher. Yeah.
No, that's cool. And thanks for, jumping on and telling everyone about your story, because I think anyone that's thinking about starting an online business, and I bet a lot of people watching this, there'll be a lot of Poshmark sort of sellers or people that want to do that watching this. So it will be giving them great inspiration and showing them, how you can take, yourself from working with somebody else to full-time in your own business. It really is, in your grasp. You've just got to go and get it. So yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Jen, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to do this. And
thank you so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. And guys, if any of you have got any questions or anything you want to ask Jen or me, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. I can forward any questions on to Jen and we'll see if we can help you guys out. Remember to like and subscribe if you found this video useful. And Jen, I'll say it again. Thank you very much. And we'll have to jump on a call again soon.
Yes, definitely. We'll have to do like another one in like a year to see how we've both come, like a little update one. Definitely. Yeah,
progress update. I like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for stopping by. There'll be more from me again very soon.